You've got yourself a diesel. It's powerful, it's durable, and, well, it sounds like a beast. But just because you own a diesel doesn't mean you really understand it. Because diesel engines are a whole different animal, and if you treat them like a regular gas engine, you're honestly in for a long, expensive lesson. That's why seasoned diesel drivers know things most people don't. Things that aren't in your manual, things your mechanic won't mention, and things that can save, or destroy, your diesel engine. So let's dive into the 5 diesel secrets that separate the rookies from the experienced. First up, your diesel engine needs to idle longer, but not forever. You've probably heard that diesels love to idle, that it's good for them. But here's the truth. Cold starts are brutal on diesel engines. They run lean, combustion is uneven, and oil hasn't fully circulated. So, experienced drivers let them idle for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes before driving. Not revving, just idling. This warms up the oil and honestly reduces long-term wear. But, and this is key, long idling is just as harmful. Too much idling creates wet, stacking unburned fuel buildup in the exhaust and cylinders. That leads to carbon clogging, injector issues, and poor fuel economy. So yeah, start it, warm it, then drive it. Don't just let it sit. Here's another secret. Your diesel hates short trips. If you're just driving 5 to 10 minutes at a time, you're not doing your engine any favors. Diesels need long, hot runs to burn off soot and regenerate the DPF, or diesel particulate filter. When you cut the engine too soon, that soot builds up, fast, and eventually you'll clog the filter and trigger limp mode. That's why experienced drivers schedule intentional highway runs even if they don't need to. It's not a joyride, it's diesel therapy. Once that exhaust temp gets high enough, the DPF regenerates, soot burns off, and your system resets. Most owners don't even realize their car is begging for a longer drive. Let's talk additives, because diesel fuel isn't what it used to be. Modern ultra-low sulfur diesel, or ULSD, is clean, but it's also dry. It lacks the lubricity older diesel fuel had, and over time that dries out your injectors, fuel pumps, and lines. Experienced drivers? Well, they use additives, usually at every fill-up. Not just for performance, but to protect the fuel system. Some go for cetane boosters, others for injector cleaners or anti-gel treatments in the winter, but the secret isn't the brand, it's consistency. Even a basic additive can prevent thousands in fuel system repairs, if used regularly. Now let's talk turbo cooldown. Your diesel turbo is tough, but it's not magic. After a hard run or highway cruise, if you shut off the engine instantly, the oil inside the turbocharger stops circulating. But the turbo is still blazing hot. That leftover heat literally cooks the oil sitting in the turbo, called oil coking. Over time, this bakes sludge into the bearings, restricts flow, and eventually seizes the turbo. What do experienced drivers do? They wait. Before shutting the engine off, they idle the car for 1 to 2 minutes, letting the turbo cool down gradually while oil still flows. It's boring. It feels unnecessary. But it saves your turbo's life, every time. And here's the final secret, and maybe the most surprising. The way you fill your diesel tank actually matters. Most diesel owners top off the tank like it's no big deal. Click, 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 until it spills or overflows. But experienced drivers know that overfilling your tank messes with your vapor recovery system, can damage the evaporative emissions components, and even cause venting issues that lead to slow fueling later. They stop right when the nozzle clicks. They avoid filling up in the middle of a delivery when diesel tanks at the station are being stirred up, because that brings all the sediment into the pump. They even use a clean rag on the nozzle when traveling long distance to avoid contaminated pumps in rural areas. Sounds extreme? Maybe. But those habits are why their trucks run clean for 200,000 plus miles. Now here's the bottom line. Diesel engines are strong, but they demand respect. If you drive one like it's just a bigger gas car, you're going to break it, or break the bank. But if you drive smart, warm it right, fuel it properly, and give it room to breathe, a diesel will reward you with unmatched torque, reliability, and power. So if you learned even one thing you didn't know, smash that like button so we can help more diesel owners save their rides. Drop your favorite diesel tip in the comments, especially if you're a high-mileage veteran. And hit subscribe to Gear Specs, where we go deeper than the surface because cars aren't just machines, they're stories waiting to be told.